All right, everyone. We are live back on main stage, and I am very excited to welcome you to our supplements panel, which is moderated by Sarah. And I am going to turn it over to her to both introduce herself as well as the panel and get us started today. Enjoy, everyone. You will see me back here again soon.
Well, thanks for that great introduction. I'm super excited to be here today with these amazing, amazing women. My name is Sarah. I'm a holistic health practitioner and I'm a digital influencer. I'm Beauty Mommy. I talk about health, wellness, clean beauty, as well as have tons of immune supporting recipes on my feed. This whole session, we're going to talk about supplements and how they can benefit your health. So we have three amazing women that have developed their own supplement lines here. So I'm super excited about it. And I really love that you guys did something like that. I always find that, if you don't find something out there, just do something about it, right? And that's what these three amazing women did. We also have Dr. Ashley Beckman here, who also helps to guide individuals on supplement health. So I will let these amazing ladies, introduce themselves. So why don't we start with Christine?
Hi, everybody. I'm Christine Bullock. This is Penelope Sky. I figured since we're all moms at home, it would be nice to say we're all here. We have the kids running around. We completely understand the craziness, and we're so glad that you're here. I am fitness professional, 20 years. I've been teaching, dually working in like beauty and skincare and just really learning health from inside out, outside in. Led me to found KO Body Care, the first space grade body care, high performance and clean for your body. And then we evolved, obviously, from outside in to inside out to create biometric beauty supplements as well. I'm glad to be here.
All right, so we'll just go around and everybody introduce themselves. We'll get started with some of the questions. Who's next? Oh, I think you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Sorry about that. Background noise on my end. I'm Julie. I'm the co-founder of Needed, and Needed is a nutrition company focused on optimally nourishing women before, during, and after pregnancy. I started Needed with my co-founder Ryan when we both discovered that prenatal vitamins weren't cutting it for the vast majority of women, ourselves included. And exactly to your earlier point, we couldn't find the product that we needed for ourselves. And so we set out on a 3.5-year journey to redesign the prenatal vitamin from the ground up.
I love that so much. I think that's just so incredible when people do that. And prenatal health is really important, and even postnatal health. I know that when I first had my kids, I went to a holistic health practitioner before I got pregnant, and she had said, like, lots of the prenatal vitamins on the market don't have this, and they have these additives and stuff. And then she said she stressed the importance of postnatal health, which, everyone's always like prenatal, but they don't understand like afterwards, like how important the postnatal health is. So, like, I applaud you so much for addressing both and making your own thing. Who's next?
Yeah.
I can go next. I'm Catherine. I'm the CEO and founder of Kindra. We are kind of at the other side of the spectrum. We're a wellness business for women in menopause. And I think as it relates to this conversation, it's particularly interesting because as women are having babies later in life, often we find that women with young children are beginning to see the changes of menopause, and how we think about nourishing our bodies is really important in this phase, as it is in every phase, but especially when we have young kids in the house and being able to balance that with everything else we have going on in our lives. Our focus is really on the four primary concerns of menopause that are the most disruptive. So loss of sleep, fatigue and brain fog, hot flashes, and vaginal dryness, which can apply to other parts of life as well. So I'm excited to be here.
Let's talk about vaginal dryness. All right. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, I think it's really great that we talk about hormones, and hormone health is so important. And I think that with all the research and studies that are going out, along with what you and Christine are doing on your supplement lines, I think they kind of go hand in hand as far as just like feeling like a woman, like, you tackle beauty from the inside out, but also we still got those like hormones we gotta kind of keep in check. And, I've been on a hormone journey for quite some time now too. And I'm finally getting like regular cycles and stuff like that. And it took me like a year, and it takes time, but you guys have come up with some really great supplements that I think can benefit people in different areas. And then Ashley, I'll let you introduce yourself too.
Hi. Well, and this is perfect actually too, because so what I work on a lot with women, and this is my passion, are kind of that in between. So like after you've had kids, early 40s, a little bit pre-menopause or before peri even. And my whole thing is finding the root cause of your hormonal imbalances. So looking for the different environmental issues, toxins, things that can impact your hormone health, and putting you on a targeted 6 to 12 month program to get that resolved and get those things out of your system so that you can lead a wonderful life and have energy and not be fatigued and really, run after the kids that we all have and have fun again and feel like who you used to be.
I think that's a big thing, like feeling like we used to feel, right? Like, you have these great like lines that you can go back on saying, God, I remember when I felt like that. I want to feel like that again. And you guys can, right? Along with a lot of the whole nutrition that we really love everybody to have, supplements are there to supplement. And a lot of the times I find that you need it. With the way that produce is grown now, and even the way animals are out there, I don't know if anyone here is eating or not. I'm a meat eater myself, but just like our diets in general, like just because of the soil and the way that we're mistreating the soil, I find that, a lot of the foods that we're eating, while the whole foods are simply amazing, they are devoid of some supplements and amino acids and a lot of the other little bits and pieces that our bodies, particularly women, need. And having these great women creating these supplement companies, and Dr. Ashley treating individuals with these holistic approaches as well as people that I take on and my clients, I find that it's so needed. And I find that they only do better, right? And when you know better, you do better, just like Maya Angelou used to say.
And I find too, like I always say, adding the supplements is so important nowadays, but also our stress levels are much higher, and that takes a gigantic toll on our bodies and creates the need for additional supplementation as well. And, I hadn't mentioned it too, and I love that we're talking about that, but for almost a decade, I had hormonal issues as well, from PCOS to low thyroid. And I was a health professional. Like I was always in fitness, and I was in nutrition, and I was eating well. And I had been everything from pescatarian growing up to a meat eater to a vegan, and, to see what worked well for me. But what I didn't do regularly that I now understand is the supplementation part. I would experiment with this and I would experiment with that, and maybe the flavor wasn't there, or, it's too many different things that you're taking. And I think that now as we walk into supplementation, all of these brands are creating these things that are very specialized, but also have a better full picture of what a woman's needs are, at different stages of their life or at all stages of their life. But these are really, and all of these, it's like you find what has balance. And I couldn't get pregnant for 8 years. I have an adopted little girl, and then you guys just saw Penelope, and it's like by balancing, doing that all naturally, she was a complete whoops daisy. So
I totally agree with that, and what I love is that, the supplement industry has really like transitioned from what it used to be. It used to be like one pill is supposed to take care of everything. I don't really agree with that approach, because sometimes you don't need all those extra bits and pieces. And in fact, I feel like it can be detrimental to your health, particularly if you have some autoimmune conditions or like PCOS. I have Hashimoto's thyroid stuff too, which I constantly treat myself as well. And lots of other like hormonal imbalances that women tend to have. And so what I love that the three of you guys did was you targeted different areas of nutrition, different supplements and different concoctions and mixes so that you can target it. And that's what I do for my own personal health. And that's how I treat my clients as well. And I target like what you need. So I really find that there's importance in that. And some people are like, well, don't you feel like a pill popper? Or don't you feel like you have all these like different supplements that you're going to? But I said, I don't really, because I know that there's one supplement that's going to target that one thing that I need. And it's ultimately what you guys are doing, is you guys are specifically creating these amazing mixes and supplements that target the different things that individuals need, right? So overall, like, why do you think supplements are important for your health?
I can talk for a little bit, or go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just say, yeah, just exactly what you said is that basically people think that they can get all the nutrient from the food they're eating, and that's just not possible anymore. So the other things are, we need a lot of different minerals, and from my perspective too, you get a lot from different compounds that aren't really found in foods in the same way and in the concentrations. And so that's the whole point of a supplement, is you're getting a concentrated amount of something that your body needs and utilizes it for a bunch of different metabolic processes. And, it's just necessary now. And that's the whole thing. All of you lovely ladies have amazing products that don't have all these binders and excipients and all these things that we have to detox from. So, people all the time, I go in and they're taking vitamins from Costco and CVS, and I'm just like, you have to throw it away. It's actually worse for you because you have to
I cringe. Oh my gosh, I
junking.
totally cringe. You're absolutely right. Like I sit there and I kind of think, like, for me, when I supplements, I always love to know the background of it. Like I love Product Expo West and all that stuff, because then I get to really learn the company. I've actually taken some tours behind the scenes of supplement companies and what they do in their quality control. And I legitimately have just those supplements in my home, and that's what I promote on my platform. So that being said, and I know you guys, all amazing ladies, know about all of the different additives and fillers and stuff that you can find on some conventional supplements that you can find, like, a supermarket. What are your thoughts about like the quality control and the importance of like the supplements that go out there? Like, what is it that you guys look for and do for your own supplement lines to kind of educate people on what they need to look for, but also to let people know, like, what is it you guys do that's different than some of the conventional that you find out there? Because I really think it's important that people understand this, because just like Dr. Ashley's saying is, yeah, you want to take these supplements, and even as simple as like a vitamin B complex, but when it's loaded with all these fillers and additives and stuff, you're actually hurting your body more, because you're like, well, now I have to detox from like pill encasing or all these other like little bits and pieces. But please, if you guys can like chat about what your thoughts about like quality control and what you guys do for your own particular lines that outside of what's conventionally done.
I think there's ways that you can obviously read the ingredient list, and I'm sure that a lot of these lovely ladies can go into that. But I actually find one of the basic things, this is one of the easiest things you can do, is to know the founder story. Exactly what you're saying, because even as a brand grows, and they might be a bigger international brand, when you know who that founder is and what their mission is and what drives them, they're, even as they have to expand to different labs, when you're going to find a quality of ingredients and going into it, because it is sometimes hard to say, like, what's the lab, where are they, is it sustainably sourced? Is it, or you can know somewhat organic, but you're going to pay for the quality if that's fully organic. So a lot of supplementation tries to blend it as well. But I think super basic is just know who that founder is, and is it something that you believe in, because they're going to, hopefully, I think, give you that quality.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think when we talk about supplements for the perinatal nutrition space, we really break it down into a couple of main areas for what to look for. And number one, for sure, is, can you trust the company behind the products? So I think that exactly speaks to what you're referring to. I think the other things to look at are the nutrients in the forms that your body can best utilize. Sometimes the term bioavailability is thrown around. That's kind of a fancy way of saying, how does your body process the nutrients? Nutrients come in a lot of different forms. So B12 in cyanocobalamin is not the same as B12 as the two more usable forms that we include in our supplement. The same is true of folate versus folic acid. And so nutrient forms really matter. Looking at dosages, so especially in pregnancy, and I don't make this comment about every life stage, but in pregnancy, we are really big believers that less is not more when it comes to nutritional dosages. Most prenatal vitamins and postnatal vitamins are designed to meet bare minimum needs, not to optimally nourish, and those levels are very different. So what are the dosages that are in it? You don't want to go too high, but you also don't want to go too low. And we oftentimes see people err on the side of going too low. And then, of course, minimizing unwanted additives, and that can look like fillers and excipients, as we've been referring to. It can also look like nutrients that you really don't need or that shouldn't be paired with other nutrients. For example, if you have calcium in your prenatal, you shouldn't also also include iron, or, a necessary role for it has yet to be established, especially around pregnancy. So that is very important. And then I think the final one that we stress when choosing a quality supplement is it something you can take every day? Is it something that can fit into your life and be easy to incorporate? For us, what that meant was making our prenatal as a powder that you can blend into a smoothie or into a latte. We will also have pill options available soon. And there's definitely a place for pills on busy mornings, et cetera. But something that you can really incorporate, if it's a supplement intended to be taken daily, you need to be able to take it daily and not dread doing so.
And I love that, because when it's a count of like 10 pills you have to take in a day, you're never going to be able to swallow all of those throughout the day. You get the belly aches. I absolutely, that is main one thing that we look at all the time. And like with all of our capsules, it's either one, and we have a patent pending delivery method that binds it, drives it straight to the blood-brain barrier. And that's kind of like a higher concept, but it is your delivery method. And it's the same thing too, like our greens, we have a berry flavor. So even my toddler drinks it, and it's something that the consumer like absolutely wants to take. And now you get your superfoods. Same thing, the collagen, like it tastes really good. I even put it in my margaritas. So at least I'm getting a little bit a day.
I think that's so funny. Like this might be like a really like TMI, but like I go to a place and get colonics every once in a while. And I had gone one time and the girl had told me that she had cleaned this lady out and they had found like undigested pills inside of her digestive tract. And it happens. Like that's why it's the ingredients, just like you guys were saying, in these supplement forms, whether it's a powder or a pill form, are so important, because the bioavailability, like your body's a way to identify with digesting what's inside the stuff that you're putting in your body is really important, especially when it comes to supplements, because then it'll just sit there like a piece of gum in your digestive tract. And I was kind of like, oh my goodness. And I think that's what kind of got me started on like, I need to investigate these supplements I'm taking, because my body might not be digesting it. And then you're spending all this money on these supplements you think are working, but they're not. So I love that you guys have taken that into consideration when you're creating your own lines. And I think it's so important. And, everybody take a look at what you're using and taking and see like, what's the background? Like, can your body digest it? Are you getting bloated? Like Christine was saying, because bloating is an indication, like your body doesn't like a supplement, like find another one, find a replacement on what it is that you are taking.
And I think one of the biggest things, because I have gotten, hundreds and hundreds of questions, especially on supplements all the time. And it's like, I don't know if it's working. And if you don't know if it's working, it's not. I believe on almost every supplement, not only should you feel a quicker change, whether it's a probiotic, I think to a greens, you feel the energy, like adaptogens, you start to feel more calm. Some things add a little bit more, but I really do think when it is potent and you are somewhat sensitive to your body as well, you're going to feel it, whether it be a day, immediately, whether it be a week to 2 weeks, give it a little bit of time, you're going to know. Otherwise, we'll probably need to move on.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things for us that is obviously particularly a focal point, since we are essentially providing supplements that mitigate other concerns that are happening in your body at a very specific time when your body is going through all of this hormonal change. So the idea that you are able to take, a pill every day that ultimately is virtually erasing your hot flashes or helping with your mental acuity, you're absolutely right. You need to be able to feel that change in your body. And I think that that's, one of the things that for a long time, women just haven't had choices when it comes to being able to find solutions for these things that aren't medical or toxic or things that are highly disruptive to our natural process, right? The depletion of estrogen is normal, and so it isn't necessarily about replacing estrogen as the solution, but being able to find ways to feel like your best self through the supplementation process of natural ingredients that really help you, help you get there, which is such a huge relief, for women who are in the throes of these kinds of hormonal adjustments. And also, we have a lot of women who are cancer patients, cancer survivors, right? And so of all ages, to be able to really get the relief that you need in such a proven format, I think makes a huge difference of feeling the confidence that you can take this, to take these products and not be worried that you're adding additional toxicity to your body.
That's so important. Yeah, go for it, Christine.
Can I interject just to compliment on this too? Previously, this was 8 years ago, and I'm 39 now, that my hormones were so messed up and so depleted that I was on the base of menopause then. And that's how low and depleted I was. And really, truly, without any kind of extra help, like through supplementation, regularity, balancing my workouts, my stress load, all of that kind of stuff that adds extra stress, whether we realize it or not, that you truly can begin to balance things out and to feel your best, even, no matter, even hormones a little bit. But I feel now like I have as much energy as I did when I was 16. And I think that's one of the most vital things for me through the supplementation is, yes, we love beauty and we love, it is skincare, but when you ultimately feel your best, you're going to look your best. And I need that energy to keep up with my kiddos and be the best mom that I can be. And have a good mood every day. If you know what I mean.
Right?
I think that is one of the big misnomers of supplements that, even the name kind of suggests that they're like a backup against your diet. It's an insurance policy, and that term gets thrown around a lot around pregnancy and the postnatal time period. But fundamentally, supplements should be thought of as a core part of your nutrition routine. And the reason for that is, you can't thrive off of minimal nutrient levels. And that, gets compounded through pregnancy and breastfeeding and menopause and perimenopause, just daily life. Like it's very difficult in modern times to thrive off of minimal nutrition. And I think that is the beauty of supplementation, is that you really can feel great when you incorporate nutrients at a higher dosage level and get your needs fully met, which I think is for a lot of us, it's a new feeling. If you were previously on a more minimalistic vitamin or were not supplementing, you really can feel dramatically different and better. And that is something that we are really passionate at Needed about spreading the word about. Like, you don't have to suffer through pregnancy or postpartum or motherhood more broadly. You can really feel great while doing so.
So it's kind of nice, like you guys can target like different stages of your life with supplements. And I think that that's really important, right? Because we do go through different stages. We have different stages before we get pregnant, during pregnancy, if you decide to get pregnant, and after pregnancy, and then even as a mom, and then later on in life. So I feel like it's really great that we are taking a look, kind of like the holistic look at a female and all these different stages of life. And it's nice that there's the option to do that, right? There's so many times where I hear people say like, oh God, I can't wait till, my kid's sleeping through the night so I could feel better. And I know that that's the sleep deprivation part, but it's, oh, I can't wait till this so I could feel, I can't wait till this so I could feel better. I feel like, incorporating this piece of these supplements, you can actually feel better all the time. You just have to kind of know, like, what is it that you need for the different stages of your life. And that being said, with women, I'm curious what you guys' thoughts are. Are supplements different for men and women?
I think there's some similarities, and I think that there's differences.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I'll go into
Yeah.
similarities super quickly. I mean,
Yeah.
my husband and I now wake up every morning and like 25 superfoods. Like, this is our basic. We drink it, we literally put a scoop in. We actually just add the collagen right into it. It has hyaluronic acid, ceramides, trace minerals. Like you guys are talking about antioxidants for our joint health. So yes, we think about that kind of stuff for our beauty, but that's our joint health. That's our energy. We're running the businesses, and we do like our curcumin anti-inflammatory every single day. My husband, I always say, is a meat and potatoes kind of guy. Like to get him even to start this is amazing. But like, I think some of the basics, like that kind of stuff, everybody could take. Anti-inflammatory, your greens, your superfoods, all that.
Yeah, agree. I think in the kind of preconception time period, especially, men's supplementation really does matter. Men do need prenatal vitamins, or at least they would benefit from doing so. And our prenatal multi is iron-free, and it includes a lot of the nutrients men need for sperm health, and at all life stages, but especially if you're in the trying to conceive time period, like antioxidants, vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, zinc. So there are some similarities, but there are also nuances, dosage levels, specific vitamins, minerals, omegas, et cetera, that could be more tailored for men. And then we haven't spoken much about the herbal side of supplementation, but there are specific herbal remedies that can be really supportive to both women's health and men's health. And you wouldn't necessarily want to take a one-size-fits-all product across both sexes.
Yeah, and certainly for us, while our products are clearly targeted to people with estrogen depletion, it's interesting in contemplating that question, actually. I mean, technically, yes, men could take our supplements, and the super antioxidant power of the ingredients would have, support joint health and circulation. But the dosages probably would be different. And so in order to get the maximum, efficacy for you in your phase of life. So I think it's a really interesting question when it comes to, right, what is the baseline for all things that we can take equally versus things that you really want to be tailored to your female body and what's happening, especially with your hormone palette.
For a little bit of perspective on this question, I love that we're asking it in terms of do men also need vitamins, or are men's needs the same as women's? Because until the mid 80s, the question was exactly the opposite. Men were the ones who were studied in clinical research, and women, dosage levels and nutrient needs and drug dosages for women were calculated on the simple basis of translating what works for men to women on a height weight ratio basis. And so I think it's just profound that, that wasn't very long ago, 35 years ago, that women started coming into the kind of medical research in a more meaningful way. And our bodies do work fundamentally differently. We metabolize drugs and supplementation, and we have different nutrient needs than men. That's not to say that we are fundamentally and entirely different, but I think it's awesome that, you're seeing more and more attention on women's health research, women's health products, and men's needs need to be attended to as well. But I think historically there has been not enough focus on women's health.
And you guys are part of that movement.
Look
right?
at the quality now. Yeah.
You guys are part of that movement. And I think that's something that's been needed, right? I think that you take a look at that, and even the standardization of not just supplements, but, the drug industry, and, even with our blood tests and all of that stuff, it was always based on this standard where, women do need a little bit of a different form. So it's the same difference, right? They both need something, some sort of supplementation, but they're a little bit different. And you have to kind of transition, what is it that a woman needs versus what is it that a male needs, and iron is one of the most simplest forms, right? During before you hit perimenopause, right? We all have our monthly cycles and stuff. And, sometimes during those times you need a little bit more iron, whereas men really not supposed to have that much iron. There's no way that they're releasing any of this excess iron, right? Especially when they get over the age of 50 and 60 years of age. I think that it's, again, just looking at iron as a very, very simple example of kind of the differences with similarities between the men and women that we have out there. So that being said, we're about to head into our Q&A soon, but I have one last question for each of you, and I'll start my answer first. What have you guys done to stay healthy during COVID, during this pandemic? What I personally have done with the supplements is I increased my vitamin C intake, and I made sure that my kids had a good amount of vitamin C as well. Increased the vitamin B intake so we get a little bit of good gut health there. D3 as well, and pre and probiotics. So now I was having my kids on probiotics, but not necessarily had the prebiotics, and I'm stressing the prebiotics with them. But that's just what I personally have done. So I'm curious how you guys have worked your way through this pandemic with supplements, and any recommendations you can give people to, get their wellness going, like jumpstart their wellness through, because we don't know when this is going to end. So might as well just stay healthy during it as much as we can.
I can go. I do these long targeted detoxes. And again, this is based on my own health history and things with thyroid and autoimmune and different things. And so I really upped my protocols that I work with all my clients with. And so it's been amazing. I finally cleared being able, and now I can eat dairy again. So, when you finally fix the gut and get rid of some of these sensitivities that I've had for 20 years, I got on a wonderful program. And so it's very exciting because, we talk about this a lot. It's not always about removing everything. You actually need to heal things up so that you can handle things. So again, I have a little munchkin who's 8. So we're really mindful of sugar and keeping that out and other alternatives. And then the D, I love cat's claw is a big one for antiviral and dissolving biofilms and keeping the viruses away. And let's see, your normal kind of C, I use sometimes some CBD, things like that too. So, but I really upped my detox because again, it's all about, to me, removing those different layers of root causes of why you're actually reactive and sick and have autoimmune and hormone issues. And then, just paves the way for a really wonderful, amazing and strong immune system. All about the terrain.
I can go really quickly because it really balances out. I feel like with our greens, I definitely I'll do that sometimes 2 times a week or 2 times a day. Now, one, because it tastes delicious and it's sweet, but it is a natural detox. It is spirulina, chlorella, so true cellular health, antioxidants, and immune boosters in there, curcumin, all that. And I have my daughter drink that as well, my husband. But another thing to partner with that is the adaptogens. I think the stress is, people feel a higher amount of stress right now and anxiety. Adaptogens are amazing. And I used to take ashwagandha by itself or mix in a maca or whatever it is. We created a full formula with amino acids in this too to help calm the nervous system with our patent pending delivery method. So they're very strong, but the thing about adaptogens is they build up in the body. So even when I'm it's a pool day, if that exists, I don't know, I still take my adaptogens in the morning right now, knowing what my load is going to be and just continue on those, just kind of herbal supplements. And then we also have a CBD. As we said, I was up last night a couple times with my kids. We have 2 CBDs, a tincture that I use topically actually, and sublingually, and we have a pill. Daytime, this is 1,300 milligrams. So this is nighttime. It helps me get deep sleep, even though I can hear the baby, I can get up and do things. But beauty sleep, man, it is our restoration. It is our repair. It is so important for us. And I just get a much deeper sleep in the hours that I can sleep.
So for me, there are a lot of similar things, but the big thing that I changed is that I chew elderberry a lot. I carry it with me everywhere. And every time I feel like I have been exposed to something, I pop it in my mouth. So, in addition to all of the things I do at home, I felt like I needed something that theoretically was going to help me in the moment. I don't know whether it did.
It's elderberry right there.
That is I am obsessed with it now, and I'm worried it's going to turn me purple.
Yeah, and for me, I think it's quite similar to what's been said, but we actually launched our complete plan during COVID. And shortly after I gave birth. So every day I start, and it's probably if nothing else goes well the rest of the day, we're all busy women, many of us working full time. I like knowing that my morning smoothie is jam-packed with the nutrition that I need. So our prenatal multi has 4,000 IUs of vitamin D, which is a really solid baseline dosage for pregnancy and postpartum. And even if you're not pregnant, it's like a really awesome dose during COVID. It has, 500 milligrams of vitamin C. It has zinc. It has a lot of the nutrients that support immunity overall. And I pair it with our collagen every morning, and then kind of throw in veggies and whatever else I need to get in the morning, and then take it alongside our pre-probiotic. So absolutely agree. The prebiotic strains are just as important as probiotic strains, because you can't supplement with every single probiotic that your gut needs. Some of the species aren't available, or the specific strains aren't available. So you really want to be supporting your overall keystone species in your gut. And it's just so critically important to immunity. So that's probably the biggest thing that I changed about my wellness routine during pregnancy. During COVID. For me, pregnancy and COVID were one and the same.
I know,
so
right?
it's really difficult.
Me too.
To between the two.
Well, I thank you guys for being here. You guys have such amazing companies and such amazing insight on what it is we need to go to move forward. I definitely recommend you guys checking everybody out. We are going to head over to the Q&A section. Tracy's back, and she's going to tell you guys where to go. Tracy, we can't hear you.
Sorry, here I am. Okay, it is time for Q&A. So you're going to find the Q&A for this panel in the sessions section. If you look on your left-hand bar under stage, you should see sessions. When you get there, and you're going to have to give these guys just a minute or two to get over there for you, they will start a live Q&A. Thank you, everyone. That was amazing. We really appreciate you spending the time. Information.
Thank you.
And I will be back with everyone on the stage shortly with our Perfecting Your At Home management.
See you in Q&A.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.